Someone is named Trouble. Good morning. My name is Judge Person. I do welcome everybody to Temple Municipal Court. I'll actually take people in the order that they appeared on my side. Okay. And so if it's not your turn, just stay on mute and I will just go to each person. It will help you to listen as I proceed with the persons before you because I'll explain a lot of things. I don't mind re-explaining. But it probably gets old after a while. So if you're listening, it helps. If you miss something, feel free to ask, and I will do my best to troubleshoot as we go. Let's see, just a moment. There are people for whom I cannot identify. And so just real quickly, ma'am, you're labeled Trouble. And I'm going to ask you if you would just tell me your full name, please. And you'll have to unmute. I'm trying to, there we go. Whoops.
Takara Daniels.
Hi, Ms. Daniels.
Hi.
Okay, I'll be right back with you when it's your turn. And gentlemen with kind of a light green shirt, it just says iPhone, and it might be a white shirt. That might just be the reflection of the screen. I don't know. It looks, yeah, it is a white shirt. I'm sorry. It says iPhone. Right now, your audio isn't connected. And so I can't unmute you because it's not connected. So I'll ask you to work on that for a little bit to see if you can get connected on the audio. Oh, there we go. It looks like you're trying to do that. So yes, sir, if you could, and I've asked you to unmute. Let's get that to work for a moment. There we go. Could you tell me your full name, please? Gentleman with the mustache, white shirt. It says iPhone. Hard to describe you. You just put your phone. Great. Okay, you probably won't hear me.
Okay, great. I can hear you now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is iPhone, and so I need to know your name, please.
Oh, Shaquille White.
Thank you. I'll be back with you shortly. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. So we have Miss Kaylee, and the next person was Mr. White, actually, and then Miss Daniels was actually third. Just let me get organized. I do like to keep people, you know, if you showed up to court, we'd keep you in order. So I do my best to try to make that happen. Then I had Mr. Robinson. Then I had Mr. Race. And I had Miss. Is Kaisha Thompson on my list? I don't think I have. Oh, there, I accidentally pulled her down. Here we go. And I think that accounts for everybody. I'm looking for someone missing, Kaya Bryant. If you're here, Kaya Bryant, could you raise your hand? Okay, she's not here yet. Okay, maybe she'll show up. Let's hope so. She'll be cut off in about 10 minutes. All right, so Miss Elise, I've asked you to unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi. And so what I'm wanting to do is just visit with you. You have a red light charge and you're 18. Are you still in high school?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Where do you go to school?
Belton High School.
What year are you there? What grade?
I'm in 12th grade.
There is a red light charge, and the costs and fines, if you paid that charge, are $296. One thing I want to tell you, and everybody should probably pay attention to this, I don't know, unless you've been in my court before, I don't know if you've ever been in court before. So I assume people have not been in court before, and I just try to give you as much information as possible. So I'm going to mute you again. I need to kind of back up for just a moment, but I'll be back just to talk to you personally But what I wanted to do is say, so when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are methods that the law uses to accuse someone of an offense. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. When you give a plea or answer with a plea, you are giving your answer or response to that accusation. And the law recognizes three methods or three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Now, if you plead guilty, you're actually saying, I did this. Okay. You're admitting that offense, just as written. And when you do that, I move forward today with sentencing. With ticket citations, this is a Class C court. So that normally means paying fines and costs subject to each person's circumstances there. Okay. And then I start looking at your personal stuff a little bit because I've got to see your income, your obligations, and so forth. Okay. There are some options available, and I'll review that in just a moment at the end. But we move into sentencing. Okay. If you plead not guilty, we start scheduling you for a pretrial. There is an online pretrial with the prosecutor, and then there is a pretrial at the end if the case is unresolved before we schedule trial, because at that point, we really need to talk face to face and get some documents done. Okay. So there is a two-part setting right now at this time regarding that. Okay. Before we get to trial. And then at the trial point, you're looking at whether a jury is hearing the case or if I, as the judge, am hearing the case. That's not a decision that you need to make today. But you will need to make yourself available for those two settings, one of which you can do through Zoom. Okay. Now, if you plead no contest, you're allowing the case to move forward into sentencing without saying, I admit it or I deny it. Okay. We don't have an innocent plea because if you pled innocent, you'd have to prove it. And the state's required to prove the case at trial. Okay. So it's a technical sounding reason, but it's actually very important in terms of our rights. And so we keep it to guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Not guilty is how you trigger the state having to prove the case and a trial. Okay. Does anyone have a question about that? Those options and what they mean? Okay. I'm gonna, if you think of something when it's your turn, you can ask me. Okay. Now, if you plead not guilty, I'll schedule those two settings. Okay. If you plead no contest or guilty, I'll sentence you right now, unless there's a really good reason to delay. If you've ever watched court TV or something like that, or you've been over to the courthouse for some reason with a friend or what have you, there's usually when you can be jailed as a direct consequence of being found guilty, they do pre-sentencing packets, they fingerprint you, they do a lot of things. There are a lot more steps. Okay. This is a Class C court, so we normally don't need to go through all of that. If we need to do something to back up for you to get something that helps you, then I'm open to needing to reset if it's beneficial. But normally your time is important. I do recognize that, and I'll just move forward today. Okay. Now, options. The general go-to is you plead, you pay your fine. Now, sometimes people need 30 days. That's automatic. You can have 30 days. Sometimes people need more time, and we can set you up on a payment plan based on income. But I do have to give, if you're not paying it in full today, I need to get a payment plan application from you. Okay. And we can send that to the email provided, but we're going to need it back today. Any paperwork we do today as a result of this hearing, we'll need today. So either I'm going to send it to you and you're going to send it back signed or filled out and signed, or you're going to swing by and drop it off, or you're going to swing by and fill it out and get it done. But we will do our level best to keep your time in the building to a minimum because of health concerns at this time. Okay. So that's one of the things I'll be asking you is, can you get here? If not, how can we get this information from you? Now, pleading and paying is one option, and it's by far the simplest, but there are other options to address things like your record. For example, if you have not been to a driver safety course in the last 12 months and you have a regular Texas license or you're active military or dependent, you could look at the option of a driver safety course. Okay. There's a lot of detail to that. I'll walk through it with the first person eligible. If you listen, you'll kind of hear whether you're qualified or not, but I'll start walking people through it because it's an option I'm supposed to check in with you about. Okay. On a plea of guilty or no contest. All right. And sometimes people aren't qualified for some reason or another. They might have an out-of-state license and not be military. Military has an exception there. They might have just been 8 months ago and they're outside the 12-month time frame. And for dating purposes, the date of your last class to the date of your ticket is the window of 12 months. Okay. And I'll work with you on seeing that. Sometimes people aren't qualified for that option. Sometimes they have an offense that isn't eligible. For example, if you have a no insurance ticket, that's not one that's eligible for driver safety. Okay. Only moving violations, and certain moving violations aren't qualified. So if you are in the category where it's not a fit, then we can look at what is called a deferred disposition. A deferred disposition is a dismissal method. Okay. It's called an alternative sentencing option. And that option is really like, it looks like probation because there's a window of time where you don't get in any more trouble. We sort out how to deal with your fines and costs. Sometimes I require a class. Sometimes I require some community service. Sometimes I require check the box. It will be related to what the behavior is that got the charge brought. Okay. For example, if you have a first-time assault, I want an anger management class because anger management classes have been actually proven to not have you have that offense again in the future. You're less likely to reoffend. That's my goal as a judge for the community. So it'll be connected. I wouldn't take an assault charge and send you to a driver safety course. It will make some kind of sense. If you want a deferred disposition, you are required under law to request it at the time of the plea. So you would just say, no contest, I'd like a deferred, or guilty, I'd like a deferred. I can't do it on the not guilty because that's taking a different direction. And you can't sentence someone and not sentence them at the same time. And with a not guilty, we don't know if you're going to be sentenced yet. We will know later, okay? So guilty or no contest, deferred pleas. That's what that would look like. We lost somebody, maybe they'll come back in. Okay, and so you request a deferred. If you forgot the name of it, let me know when it's your turn, okay? I don't expect everybody to remember all of this. Usually we learn things after hearing them a few times, so feel free to ask. There is one more option, generally speaking, and that would be to do teen court. And if you are a high school student or middle school student, sometimes I get those, you're probably going to be qualified for teen court. And I have teen court right there behind me. Temple Teen Court is a program we're very, very proud of. It works well. We're assuming you're a student, that you may or may not be working. If you're working, it's probably not full-time. And so we're looking at moving you into a different category. Teen Court is also to help address with young people moving their case forward more quickly. So you'll be expected to do some things pretty fast, okay? For example, if you have teen court and you have a moving violation, you can do a driver safety course and you'll have 90 days to take it and you'll pay your court costs, which are $144. Your fine would go on hold. And if you get your course and your driving record turned in, I dismiss the ticket and waive the fine. If you take that same ticket and do teen court, if you qualify, you pay $20 instead of $144. And I just need a class from you, but I need it in 30 days, okay? And then you save a bunch of money if you do it, and we get a safer driver on our roads. Because young people, and young is 25 and under, but particularly extremely young new drivers, high school students, are in a higher risk category for further offense. And what we know statistically is that further offense, if you've had a ticket and you're underage, and you reoffend, you're more likely to have a serious accident next time, okay? And statistically, Texas is the most dangerous place to drive if you're young. Okay. We kill more people in this state driving who are underage than any other state in the nation, including California. Okay. And those drivers are, we joke about them. But the truth is, Texas is the most dangerous place. And you are more likely to be killed or dismembered, loss of limb in the next 6 months. So we want that class fast from you. So that sentencing option is really geared toward what we know to be reality. Okay. And there'll be things for you to do and you got to get on it. Okay. But I'll be talking with you about it because it will keep you safer and you will save money and you will keep the item off your record if you complete it. Okay. So if you have questions about these options, let me know when it's your turn. But now I'm going to dive into each person's case. I'll be trying to move quickly because I actually know no one woke up thinking, yay, court. Okay. So I will move quickly, but don't feel like you can't ask questions. Just stop me if I'm moving too fast and say, I have a question. Just put your hand up and let me know. Okay. And that way we're communicating and I'm addressing any concerns you have, but I'm not slowing you down if you don't have them. Okay. All right. So Miss Elise, I'm asking you, there you are, to unmute. You're going to qualify for teen court. Okay. There is a $20 teen court fee, but I have not taken your plea yet. Do you have questions about the pleading options of guilty, not guilty, and no contest?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you feel like you understand what those mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How are you pleading to the red light charge?
I'm guilty.
Okay. And people say I'm guilty a lot, and especially on this platform, it could sound like not guilty. Did you plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to confirm that I've understood you. With teen court, there is a $20 fee. Can you pay that fee today?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And then you would have a driver safety course that you would need to get to us in
Yes,
30
ma'am.
days. You'll have to come by the building to sign paperwork. Unless we can email it, you can print it, sign it, and scan it back to us and call in the payment. Joe, I'm sorry, I'm told you can't call in that particular payment. You're in Belton. No, you're in Temple. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Are you schooling online or at home, or are you going to school right now?
I am going to school.
Okay. And so you might be in the parking lot at school. Are you in the parking lot?
Yes, I am right now.
Okay. So what we'll need to do, and I'm losing.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me try to spotlight you for a minute. I'm losing your video. Are you there? Miss Elise?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we're having a little trouble with your connection. If you get disconnected, call back in and I'll take you right back up.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, it's letting me know your bandwidth is low. I don't know if you moved or exactly what happened. There you are. Okay. So if you will come by the building, when can you get here? When do you get out of school? You're suddenly not. I can see your lips moving, but I've got no sound. Is it?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. I think, yeah, you accidentally muted yourself. Can you get by today? And if so, what time?
I get out of school at 4:25, but my mom can pull me out of school if I need to. If I need to be.
You want to get here before 4:30. So it's breaking down again. I'm hoping you can hear me.
I can.
Okay. Just get over to the building when you can, but before 4:30. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll have everything in a packet for you, including we'll spell everything out in writing, and we'll have class information, some places that you might try in case you need to know how to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to let you go. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. White, I have asked you to unmute.
Yes,
Hi,
ma'am.
sir. We have a more complicated situation because we've got a lot of old things, okay? So
Yeah.
you'll need to bear with me because most of these I don't have what we call plea on file. And so I've got to start with that and then we can look at your financial situation as well, okay?
Okay.
And I have your payment application for that, so I don't need to get anything else from you until we decide what the direction that we're going to go today, okay?
Okay.
Okay. But I do need to get pleas on these cases, and some of them are a little bit old. June 6th, I think, is the earliest one. It is. There is a speeding charge. Right now, because of the lapse of time and not coming in to enter a plea and communicate, a lot of the fees have gone up, okay? We're going to talk about those separately, but I'm supposed to tell you before you enter a plea the consequences. So I'll tell you those numbers now, but I'm open to looking at those numbers with you, okay? But on the speeding charge itself, from June 6th, how are you pleading? Did you know the pleading options, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How are you pleading to that charge?
No contest.
Sorry?
No contest.
No contest. Okay. There's a no insurance charge from that same stop. How are you pleading?
Same.
No contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I can't plead for you, so you'll actually have to tell me those things. You had a court date on that ticket. There's always a court date on the ticket itself. And we have you not appearing or completing the case, and that's called a violation of that promise to appear. How are you pleading to that charge?
No contest.
There is another stop September 11th, and the stop is for expired registration. How are you pleading to that charge?
No contest.
There is also driving with an invalid license. How are you pleading?
No contest.
And then there is no insurance. How are you pleading?
No contest.
Were you insured at the time of either of these stops in a way that you could show me an insurance card?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I just like to clarify that for people need to know. And then there is October 22nd, running a red light charge. Fines and costs are $269. How are you pleading to that charge?
No contest.
And no insurance, $281. How are you pleading to that charge?
No contest.
Okay. I do have your income information. Are you working at Whataburger still?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you raise your right hand? As to that income information, do you swear or affirm that the information you have provided is true, correct, and accurate, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Let me just sort this out real quickly. What day of the week do they pay you at your position?
Monday.
Always on Monday?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the child support something you're receiving or something you're paying?
Paying.
Is it removed from your paycheck before you get paid?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And um, Are you the only adult in your home?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Who else is living there?
My roommate.
Are the bills that you've listed your portion of the bills?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you receive any food stamps or assistance?
No, ma'am.
Does your child receive free lunches or anything of that nature?
No, ma'am.
And is your child living with you most of the time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm always baffled. What's such a different number? Is Angelina? Is that her name?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is she living with you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, but you visit.
Yes.
Okay. You've put on here that you would propose paying $100 a month. I'm actually, in looking at your income, I think that we should shift from payment to community service. Do you have any objection to that?
No, ma'am.
Give me one moment to calculate the amount needed. Does he have, he has Omni on those warrant cases, right? I think that's why his license is invalid. But I'm not sure if it's on all of them. It looks like it. Yep. Yeah, as you said before, warrants. The 4 that have warrants? There's 9 warrants. I have 9 warrants here. Just making sure that we calculate this right. Gotcha. I did the wrong way. That's not him. That's not him. I did the right person when I talked to him. But yes. Sorry, 4 of them? Okay. Okay. Okay, it's going to come up to 118 hours. Okay. And I'm going to start with 90 days for you to get that back to us. If you got it done more quickly, I could clear your cases and release the hold. And I think that hold is triggering your suspension at this time, your license.
Okay.
Now, there could be other holds triggering it as well as mine. But once I put that hold on those 2016 cases, that's, creating a problem for you. So I just want to ask you to, consider speeding that up if you can. I'm going to want you to come by and sign your paperwork today and get the information for the places you can go. I see you're living in Temple. Most of the places on my list are in Temple, so it should be relatively easy for you to find a place. They're all using COVID protocols, but if you have an underlying medical condition that prevents you from doing community service, you need to let me know. Otherwise, I'm basically going to work with you at your comfort level for getting this done, as long as you stay communicating with us every 60 days. Okay, I'm going to drop back to 60 because I need to hear from you, even though you might not have it all done.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I've given you triple credit up front. It actually should have been closer to 300 hours.
Yeah.
My goal is to get you to try to fast track it, even in this climate that we're kind of in, right? So it's kind of like going to food banks or to churches or to different places like that where you can help out. And I'm giving you credit here for it, okay?
Okay.
Because you have hard-earned money, but it's not enough for you to get out from under this fast enough to pay it. Like if I gave you $100 a month, like you asked, I don't see that it would work very well for you. It would crunch you in terms of like food, which would not be my goal. But the other thing is that would take you 40 months.
Yeah.
So my goal is to try to get you back on track. And what I'm hoping is you don't treat it this way again, because the next time I see you, it turns into you're not getting any breaks from me. When you get a ticket, you come in. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And you treat this court the way you would like to be treated, we will respond in kind.
Okay.
Okay. So as long as we stay really clear about that from here forward, I'm going to work with you. Okay. You signal to me that that's not working when you blow it off. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I need is you didn't care enough to bother. Then I don't care enough to bother. That's kind of how I treat it. Okay. So knowing that going forward, due date is March 15th. If you're not done with everything documented and turned in, you're back on a Zoom call with me, or you're communicating by letter to the clerk that you make sure they receive because you call and check up on it.
Okay.
Right? We allow phone calls, faxes, emails, Zoom before we even require that you step in the building. Okay. You can phone call in, but you can't do the paperwork through a phone call. So we have to get you over to sign things or to bring us documents if you can't, email those in or print them and sign them. But it's pretty simple when you really get to understanding it. My better goal for you would be to not reoffend. And as much as I'd like to send you to a class, that's just not going to work in this situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you get by before lunch and sign your paperwork and get your papers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you come on in, then I can get the warrants out of play. Okay. I'll recall them as soon as I know you've got your papers. So you won't get arrested coming to the building. Okay. I don't gotcha trick people. Okay. I just tell you ahead of time. If I'm going to arrest you, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'm not going to arrest you for coming here. I want you to come in and get things dealt with. Okay. Okay. I'm going to make a note that you'll be by before lunch. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You take care.
You too.
Stay well. Okay. Yeah, that's where I got confused. Was the photo. Yeah. Okay. So no, he doesn't pay them because he's indigent. I'll be right with you. And Ms. Daniels, I'll let you work on unmuting while I talk to the clerk for a quick moment. Okay. No, he can, he'll be fine. He doesn't need to pay those as long as he does his hours. Okay. Ms. Daniels, I do have, as I did with the previous gentleman, some things that are outstanding that I need to ask you about first, okay?
Okay.
There is a pending charge from, let me get the dates down. We've got 2009. And it seems like every month, hold on. There's an old case from March 2009, but it has a plea. And then the next date is May 25th. There
Excuse
is,
me. You
sorry.
said there's one with a plea. I've never been to court, so I don't understand how there's a plea.
Yeah, you may never have come into court. I'll look and see that no insurance charge. She says she's never been to court. So, but it looks like we have a no contest claim, so. Yes, it's CVA 9. 74708. We're pulling that paperwork up. May 25th, there is a fail to display your driver's license charge. Fines and costs are at $330.20 because of the passage of time and warrant fees. It did go up. How are you pleading to that charge?
Is this 2009?
May 25th, 2009.
I can't remember, but I'm gonna say guilty.
From that same stop, there was a no insurance charge. That one is $694.20. How are you pleading?
Guilty.
The next stop I have is July 13th. There is a no inspection charge from that stop. The fines and costs are $330.20. How are you pleading?
Guilty. Can I ask you a question? You
Yes.
said to ask about the defer.
I'm probably not going to grant deferreds on these. They're old. And we have too much to be trying to deal with to be adding more steps. But I'll entertain it at the end.
Okay.
But I'm leaning away from it because if I can do something in 3 steps, I don't want to make that 12 because your chances of getting through all of that, it's just a lot. You have a lot going on. And I'm trying to be as simple as I can so that you can successfully get out from under this and move forward and maybe change how you handle your matters. But that's a separate issue. On the insurance charge from that stop, how are you pleading?
Guilty.
And then there is what we call a violation of your promise to appear. That means just not coming to court on the underlying charge and completing the matter. How are you pleading?
I'll go ahead and plead guilty.
Okay. The next stop is August 18th. There is a no inspection charge from that stop. How are you pleading?
Inspection. Guilty.
Okay. And then from that stop, there is an unrestrained child under 2 years of age. How are you pleading?
Not guilty because I wasn't driving that day, but I was in the car.
Was it your child?
Wasn't my child. The mother of that child was in the car that day.
Okay. You're going to have to post a bond in full for $460 because you waited, gosh, let me count here, 11 years to ask for a trial. So you will have to post a bond. That officer is still employed.
I have to pay $480 today?
To get the warrant off, you have to pay that.
Today?
Post
Or
it as a bond. It's that amount because you blew it off for this long. Okay. So yeah, it's on you. Now, no, I can hold this warrant out for 10 years, but to get it off of warrant status and move it forward, you have to put a bond down because you do not, with this court, get to wait that long and trail it out without securing your appearance in this court and signing something saying, I promise to come to court when you've already done that and not come in for 11 years? No, ma'am. We'll move on. You can think about that. You also were cited for failing to appear in court on that underlying charge. That's called a violation of your promise to appear. How are you pleading to that charge?
Oh my God. It's been 11 years. I can remember
Well,
that.
that's because that's what you did.
I understand that. And I understand. And I've been trying. I mean, when I first, I know it's 11 years. So it sounds like a bunch of BS and an excuse. But
You live in Temple on Canyon Creek.
I just moved back to Temple. Actually, I just moved
We
back to
take
Temple.
letters.
I called in.
We take letters. We take faxes.
I'm stop.
How are you pleading?
I'll plead
Not
guilty.
coming to court.
I'll plead guilty. I'll plead guilty.
Then there is a new stop from December 23rd, driving with an invalid license. How are you pleading to that charge?
Guilty.
And a no insurance charge. How are you pleading?
Guilty.
Okay, and then on the unrestrained child charge, you want a trial on that.
No, I'll just go ahead and plead guilty because I don't have $480.
No contest?
Yeah.
Okay. I normally would not push that hard, but honestly, this is just too long. But I did review your financial statements, and I have a few options available for you. Right now, your income and your expenses, I mean, you're not struggling as much as some people, but your expenses are very low. Probably you have family helping out, and you're in a hopefully a positive situation. But I still think you're eligible for community service. And so that would be what I would go to. And that's the one with 9 Omnis on it. Let me get that calculated out, and I can ask you at that point about that. Do you have any underlying health conditions that a doctor would say you couldn't do community service?
No.
Okay. Because right now your balance is $4,848.10. Which would be 578 hours. I think I'm going to cut that in half because I don't think it's realistic in this climate to do that. So 289 in terms of hours. That's giving you quadruple credit.
Thank
in
you.
hopes that you can get it done. We're going to start with 60 days. I can kind of gauge how it's going. That'll give you time to find a provider, get it going, see what you can do. I see you have a very dependent child, and I don't expect it to all come in at that time, but I sort of need to hear from you at that point after 60 days, make sure we're staying on track and that you're keeping up with the court date, the one court date, and turn in. You're going to have to swing by today to get a packet so I can get your warrants out of play, which I will do.
Same building I went to yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Which I will do once I know that you are getting on track. Okay. And so we'll go ahead and get that ready for you. Can you come by before noon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll make a note that to recall your warrants when you appear. Yeah, I don't want to send anybody to jail right now, ma'am. I just want to get you on track. Okay. Jail's just not where people need to go right now for tickets. And especially with COVID, it's not a good place. So let's just try to get you back on track and get you going in a direction that will get this out. And then in the future, I know you're going to handle it differently. I have confidence that you will. If you don't, you'll know how I'm going to respond. Okay. But if you don't, there's more options available, like those deferreds and things. When you come in on time, you qualify for more help. Okay. So if you happen to get ticketed again, get in here or get us an actual letter, call and make sure we got it,
Yes, ma'am.
Important. Okay. You take care.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Come by.
I'm on my way.
Yes, ma'am. Probably gonna drive here. Right, well, she's DWI. Okay, give me just one moment. I need to check one thing out. I'm thinking 10 is when that senior, I don't think I'm gonna make it to that class. Yep, they sure did. I'm contemplating whether I log in and mute it, but it's available live tomorrow, and I'd sort of rather somebody else get my seat and I watch tomorrow. Yeah. I think I'm going to try to unenroll. Give me just a moment. I'm supposed to be in a meeting at 10 and court comes first. So I'm going to cancel that meeting so that I'm not trying to rush people. I want to take that pressure out of my equation right now. That's the only thing. Okay, I'm back. Mr. Robinson, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Give me just a moment. There you are. And so, did you understand the pleading options that we were talking about earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
Guilty, not guilty, and no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's a speeding charge. If you paid it, it's $264. How are you pleading to that charge?
I'm guilty.
Okay. The way that it looked, there was a kind of a request for teen court,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
it wasn't directly from you and the plea wasn't directly from you, if I'm remembering correctly. So I just wanted to confirm that and discuss it with you. Where do you go to school?
Rogers High School.
Rogers, great. Great school district. Do you have a, can you pay the $20 teen court fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
You're a junior or senior there?
Junior.
Great. There'll be an online class or a live class. I will let you elect which one to go to, and we'll give you information in your packet for how to find those. It's going to be due by February 16th. And if you get it turned in on time, your case will get dismissed. Okay.
Okay.
Can you come over here today and pay that fee and sign your paperwork and pick up your packet?
Yes, ma'am. I should be able to. I know I have a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock, so I don't know exactly when it's ending, but I should be able
Is
to.
that in Rogers or over here in Temple?
That's over there in Temple.
Okay, we're open. I just tell people try to get here by 4:30 because you'll need a few minutes to get in and so forth. But just come after your doctor's appointment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll look for you around probably 3:30. Okay.
Okay.
And really, it's pretty simple. Your information will be in your packet. If you have questions, the clerk can answer. If you have additional questions that they can't answer, you can always get another Zoom meeting to talk to me.
Okay.
All right. If you get your course turned in, then we dismiss it and you save $244. Okay. It's a first offense. We just want you safe. However, you won't get multiple chances at that. So really take your class to heart. Okay.
Yes.
Make sure it works. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry to stack those up. Hi, Mr. Race. I'm going to unmute you for a moment or ask you to unmute. Great. How are you, sir? Good. I right now can't hear you, so let me make sure I've got you turned up loudly enough. Yeah, it's pretty good on my end. Do you know where your microphone is in relation to your screen? I can read your lips, but I sure can't hear you. Sounds like that whatever you did just now might have helped. Can you speak again? If I can't hear you, we're not communicating enough for me to move forward. I can hear you. There it is. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever that device is, it isn't helping you. Okay.
Yeah.
So we just have a default on a payment plan, and I've reviewed your income information, and you do qualify for community service, okay, to complete this. If we do that, it's not, you have paid some of it, so it becomes 10 hours. And I can give you 30 days or longer if you need it to come back in. But we would start with 30 days. And then if you don't get it done, you can check back in and ask for more time on your due date or get it all turned in by your due date. How does that sound?
It's just 10 hours.
10 hours. Yeah, you had paid some. So you were about halfway in when things got a little harder for you.
Yeah, the holidays hit kind of.
Yeah, it can. I mean, I can put you back onto a payment plan if that's your preference, but I want to offer you community service first, and you can elect what do you want to do?
Yeah, let me do the community service.
Yeah, we are going to get that paperwork ready, and it'll be at the front desk today. Can you get here by noon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's approved. I just wanted to clarify with you because you're right on the edge of things maybe improving, but and I certainly want that to happen. But right now, today, community service looks like the best option for completion for you. So I wanted to offer that to you. Okay, we'll have everything at the front desk, and there'll be instructions, a timesheet, and places that are friendly to the phone calls of, hey, can I come over? Okay.
Right.
All right. And so you'll have some direction once you pick up your packet.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. We'll see you in a little bit.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now I am going to get done before 10. Hi, Miss Thompson.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, there you are. Very good. So I am showing that you're 16. Is Mom there with you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Mom, what's your name?
Katrina Douglas.
Katrina Douglas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for being here. Ms. Thompson, I know you were checked in at the very beginning. So I do want to ask if you understand those pleading options of guilty, not guilty, and no contest.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions about what that means?
No, ma'am.
Okay. On the speeding charge, if you just paid that ticket, it's $254. I think you've seen we have teen court as an option. How are you pleading to that charge?
Guilty.
Okay. Where do you go to school?
Temple High School.
Great. What grade are you in?
11th grade.
Great. With teen court, there's a $20 fee. Can you pay that fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you swing by to get your information packet? It will tell you the class I want you to take. You'll actually be able to elect some different options there. There's a live class, which I think is the best option. You can take it online if that's going to work better for you and your family. But I need a course, 6 hours, by February 16th. Can we get that done and turned into the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Class by 2/16. Payment is today for teen court. Okay, so you do your payment today and you sign your paperwork and then you get your class turned in within 30 days and I dismiss it. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you get here in the next couple of hours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all can actually head over if y'all are, Mom's going to need to sign too.
Okay.
So that question is actually, let me back up for both of you. Can you get here by noon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Okay, any questions?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. If you have questions when you look at the paperwork, the clerk will have answers. If they can't answer, then they will go ahead and punch you back into another meeting if we need it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.